One
What's up,
half
man?
of the fighter and the kid.
That's
here
right.
in Vancouver.
The younger
Man,
half.
The younger half, yeah. You're talking about Brian there, 50 years old kind of thing.
Soon, man. Saturday he turns 50.
That's crazy. Now, you're up here in Vancouver. First trip to Canada for this Fighter and the Kid live tour.
Yeah.
Friggin' blew the socks off me, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Like, not even you guys, but I mean the crowd itself. I'm sitting out there. We sat out there for like an hour for that VIP thing to end, and these people are walking out. We saw people crying.
Yeah.
We saw dudes going, "Ah!"
Yeah.
Like, that must be surreal.
Nuts, man. I'm so fortunate. I think this is the fastest sellout we've ever had, too. You know, we're at a theater. It's supposed to seat, I think, 730 something. They fit almost 900 in here tonight. It's nuts, man. And we had to add an additional show because there was an overflow. So we did a show last night and a show tonight. And then we're off to Seattle, Portland. But it's unreal, man.
What took so long to get up here?
I'm not sure. Our manager who books it, I'm not sure. I think, you know, they wanted to see how we do in North America because that, you know, that's our market.
Yeah.
But I mean, Canada, you know, we have analytics that show the cities, and Canada's always in the top 5. Like Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto, Quebec, Calgary, they're all in our top 10. So this year we'll be going to all those cities.
Awesome. So, you know,
it's the wildest crowd we've ever had.
Was it? That's pretty cool.
Philly was a little wild, Philadelphia, but Vancouver by far the most wild.
Now, I was media at your fight up here. Yeah, I heard you talk about that on the show the other day. You're like, Vancouver, remember me?
Yeah.
You posted that picture on your Instagram.
Yeah, throwback
I
Thursday.
was at Joe's show at the Orpheum when him and Brian were there. You walked in with the great Huron, I think, was with you, and Henner was with you. You guys walked in. There was a cheer for you. Yeah. Did you ever think that you'd be up on that stage?
No,
dude?
hell
like
no.
That's crazy.
Hell no. Especially back then, you know, I was there before the fight because I was trying to get nerves out, and Joe invited me. And if you remember, Joe and Brian came out in Team Schaub shirts.
Yeah.
And, you know, those are my guys, man. And when I was here getting ready to fight Andre Arlovsky, you know, I honestly thought I'd beat Andre, then I'd get, you know, Travis Brown next or someone like that, and then win that fight and then get to the title shot. So this wasn't even a thought of mine.
You spoke during the show about how you guys met, you and Brian. Yeah. Our fans don't know that story, obviously. It wasn't really brought up on the podcast even when you guys first started. What
was it not? I don't know. We've done so many.
Yeah, you've
not
done
really.
So many.
People ask us all the time. You see fan questions. You know, the Ultimate Fighter 14, Shane Carwin and Roy Nelson were the coaches. One of the lowest rating seasons of all time. It's just the way it goes. And I was brought in as a coach to help with grappling, and they brought Brian in to make the kids laugh. And you know, Brian and I kind of hit it off. He was telling the kids something, and I started busting his chops. And then I came to his stand-up that night, and I was getting ready to move to LA the week after that. And I told him that. And he goes, "Oh, I live in Santa Monica." I was like, "Oh, I'm moving to Venice." And he gave me his number. And he goes, "Call me, man." And Brian's the only number I have on my phone in California. And I called him. We met for coffee. And then he goes, "Man, I have this podcast called The Brian Callen Show." I'm like, "I don't know what a podcast is."
Yeah.
He's like, "It's like a radio, but different. Like, people can listen to when they want." So I did it, and we had this weird chemistry. And it was, you know, he had like 7 listeners at the time. But it went well. It was his highest rated podcast. He's like, "We should do it every week." I'm like, I don't want to do that. He's like, no, we'll do it every week. But he knows me. He goes, "But we won't talk just fine and be a lifestyle podcast." I said, "Then I'm up for that." And then here we are.
And you were still fighting at the time. Did you ever think you were going to give that up to pursue this? I mean,
no.
You now have a kid and shit, man. Like,
yeah.
Obviously, your mind had to roll immensely. Like, I mean, when the show first started, you guys were, you know, rich as fuck. And you kept, you know, bragging about being rich and all that stuff. But in your mind...
It's all a joke, though.
Of course, but really in your mind... You had business savvy had to come into play to think, hey, I'm going to leave my career as a fighter and move into this full time.
Yeah, but and this is you know, they chalk that up to the fans because, you know, I was fighting at I'm trying to think. UFC 174 is when I first changed my name to Big Brown. We changed that because Fighting Kid fans demanded it. They're like, "You got to go by Big Brown. Forget the hybrid." So we did that, and I was in the airport, and people were coming up to me and going, "Oh, I love the podcast, man. Thanks." I'm like, "Really? Like, people listen to this?" And then we brought on a advertising agency, and then we started getting money. And then I lost our last game. I didn't even think about retiring at all. They gave me Travis Brown. I'm like, "I'm going to beat him, get right back title shot." And there's a transition period between there where I was getting these checks in from the podcast. And I'm like, "Hold on. let me just think about this. If this keeps up, I will make more in 2 months than I made getting punched in the face from Andrei Arlovsky. And it was a very clear and easy decision.
It's really cool. I mean, obviously, still has to be like, you must be sort of, scratching your head at it at times. Like, you wake up in the morning and you get to do this kind of stuff.
It's nuts, man. It's nuts. And, stand-up's a different thing. I've been blessed where the Comedy Store, the Laugh Factory, the Hollywood Improv, these venues ask me to come there and do stand-up, and it's nuts, man. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's literally like I'm living a dream. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know how I get so fortunate. I really don't think I'm that funny. I don't know. I've just always been the funny kid in school, and my brother, viewed me as like a clown, and I don't know. It's weird, man.
Do you ever do any of the guys ever get apprehensive and stuff when you're in the back room? Like, you joked about it. You said, yeah, we have a UFC fighter and stuff like that. But are there ever guys that are, going up at or before you, and you're this new guy? You said you're the CM Punk of comedy.
Yeah, CM Punk of comedy.
Do you ever feel apprehension with guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
And, I won't mention any guys.
No, of course.
And I have no issues with it. Like, there's some big comics who come on after me. I'll get laughs. So, the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory and the Improv aren't having me up there just because I'm Brendan. Like, I'm not famous. I'm not that big of a draw. I'm up there, for whatever reason, these random crowds laugh, so they keep having me back. And there's way bigger name comedians who've been doing it for 20 years and they come on after me, and they're pretty ruthless. They're pretty brutal. Yeah, they're not the biggest Schaub fans.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. I mean, why? I mean, I really haven't earned my keep. Granted, while they're on the road, it's a different lane, but while they're on the road doing these stand-up bits, I was getting punched in the face. So I've had a tough road too, man.
So what's it like in the locker room with MMA? Nerves are there. Going out on stage, how does it compare?
It's a little different because, don't get me wrong, I'm scared of this. I'm scared of this. It's similar because in this aspect, I'm scared of this because I don't want to let any of the fans down. Like, when you pay money to see Brian and Brendan, because remember, when you go to UFC, my last fight was 3 years ago, December 6th, Travis Brown, you paid to see that entire main card. I was the third up I was right before the co-main event, big card, UFC 180, was it 181 in MGM. But you're paying to see the whole experience. If you pay to see a ticket for Fighting the Kid, you literally pay to see Brendan and Brian. So I feel like I owe this huge kind of weight on us to deliver. So, and I feel like we do because the live shows are only getting bigger. The crowds are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I feel like we're doing that. But I felt a huge kind of weight on my shoulders when I was fighting too. Not from the fans. It's not to not let the fans down because they're gonna leave happy no matter what because it's a fight. They're seeing a ton of the fighters. I wasn't that big of a draw. I wasn't a Connor or Ronda or anything like that. But I didn't want to let my coaches down, so I felt a lot of weight with that.
When did you feel that sort of transition from, okay, I got to leave this, to, obviously, there was Joe's podcast where that whole sort of conversation came up, and you felt like I don't know whether that was when you felt like you needed to leave the sport and move to doing podcasting full time.
Well, no, what people don't realize is I had thoughts of leaving before that. Joe knew that. So he knew, you need to get the fuck out, man, because you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You're fighting these monsters, so that's all they have. You're going to get in trouble. He just did it in a very harsh way, but it's the best thing that ever happened to me, man. So I think for me, I was going into fights. I was so scared back there, and I was like, God, there has to be a better way to make money, and it just organically happened.
Couple MMA questions, since we do have an MMA following here.
Yeah.
This weekend, your buddy Chael Sonnen takes on Tito Ortiz. I know you did the Big Brown breakdown.
Yeah.
Being that it is so close to the fight, how do you really see it going down? Do you siding with Chael still? Yeah,
siding with Chael. I just think Chael, he's the bigger guy. I've trained with both of them. I love both of you guys, so I hate picking anyone. But anytime Tito's back in the corner, he usually delivers. But if Chael shows up, Chael should come out victorious. That's a big if. He's had a lot of time off.
Yeah, definitely. And UFC heavyweight division, what are your thoughts on the whole sort of landscape of it right now?
They need to figure things out, man. I don't know who's running the ship there. I don't think it's on Dana, but, Stipe's the champ, and Verdum was supposed to fight Kane, and Kane backs out. So I think you do Kane versus JDS, and the winner of that would fight Stipe. They need to keep Stipe more active. You know, he's a huge draw, and he's so talented. And they need to figure things out because the heavyweight division is dinosaurs. Name the youngest guy. Name a young prospect coming up. You can say Francis Gano, but
Misha Serkinov. Right, I mean, he's Canadian, so
sell 7 tickets.
Yeah,
you know, it's tough. So you look at guys coming up. There's not a huge name. You have the Beast versus Travis Brown. That's a fun fight, but I mean, the Beast is fun to watch. That Derek Lewis is fun to watch, and they're building him. He has a great personality, so he's probably the newest blood in there, and that Francis guy.
Yeah.
But they're all dinosaurs, so they need to figure it out.
Definitely. I want to do one thing with you. It's called Sucka Rundown. I'm going to give you a word. You do word association. First thing on your mind.
All right.
Dana White.
Pioneer.
Donald Trump.
Businessman.
Vancouver.
Amazing.
Brian Callen.
Special.
Brendan Schaub.
Working.
Awesome, buddy. What's Fighter and Kid have in store for us for the rest of 2017?
2017, you know, we're just trying to mix it up. I think last year, you know, we had we had a booking agent booking guests, and they weren't, for us, they didn't really fit the dynamic. I think it affected the show. We had a lot of great guests, and some guests, I'm like, I'm our demographic, and I'm like, dude, this isn't working for me. So we're being way more selective with guests. The Big Brown Breakdown has been a blessing in disguise, and it allows me to really dive into the MMA scene and kind of one-on-one, and so more of that. You know, I have Boss rooting on next week. I have Robin Black coming up. I have Steven Stone Cold Austin coming up. I have monsters that want to come on and just talk, man. I have Rogan. You know, it's going to be great.
Awesome, man. You guys are doing work.
Yeah, trying.
Congratulations,
Thank you, man. Thanks for the time. Appreciate you guys.